Hey everybody, welcome to New Zealand's Biggest Gap here, an epic challenge that my partner Laura and I decided to tackle a few years back. The challenge? 365 activities all around New Zealand in 365 days. And this is day 217, and we are going to one of the grandest Lord of the Rings locations in the country. It's Edoras. But first, coffee. Before we get on our tour today, we are heading to the Restart Mall, which is the massive shopping mall made out of containers. That's the basically Christchurch answers to the need of shopping after the massive Christchurch earthquake. Sadly, while we were getting coffee there, we learned that the mall is about to close, so we are probably one of the last ones to get to film it. Now that Laura and I got our caffeine fix, we are heading to Edoras. We are joining the team from Hassle-Free Tours for an epic journey to one of the grandest and one of the epicest Lord of the Rings location.
Edors, or Mount Sunday, however, is not in Christchurch city centre. In fact, it's about 2.5 hours drive away in the Ashburton Lakes. However, we do stop along the way at Rakaya to pick up a couple of yesterday's muffins, which we get at a bargain. Then it's back on the road towards Edoras. As you may have noticed, we are in a pretty beastie bus, which is 6-wheel drive and will really get us into the off-the-beaten-track places. Once we hit those gravel roads on our way to Mount Sunday, our driver Phil is kicking it into 6-wheel drive and we are making our way right into the heart of the Ashburton Lakes.
Like in most of the bus tours, we are taking a lot of pit stops where we can take amazing pictures. The landscapes surrounding us are absolutely stunning. They are all huge because we are basically traveling through a massive valley which is inhabited. There is only a few farmers and a tiny place which is only getting busy in summer. So basically we have the entire place to ourselves. But one of the things this area is really famous for is its huge amount of wind. In some days you can't even walk, and it really looks like today is one of those days. The wind is about to wipe me off my feet.
It will still be pretty, okay? I promise you. We're still gonna do a river crossing, everything else, but I'd be negligent if I tried to get you to the top of the hill in this wind. You literally, it would blow you off your feet up there.
So long story short, we will see Edoras for sure, but we're not sure if we're gonna be able to climb it because the wind is so crazy. So now this is for real. There is no more pit stop. We are on the final stretch toward Edoras. We are making our way to the very location where we're filming all those Lord of the Rings scenes. The location is called Mount Port Station and it has been voted many times one of the most stunning Lord of the Rings locations in the whole country. So needless to say that the anticipation in the bus is growing.
As we're getting closer to Mount Sunday and passing through this beautiful scenery, we're watching some behind-the-scenes documentaries on the bus about the location that featured in the Two Towers and the Return of the King, which we have just arrived at. Phil stops the bus and he's taking out some Lord of the Rings props so we can take some awesome photos in front of Mount Sunday. We have Gimli's Ask, we have the Sword of Isildur, and we are taking pictures of everyone together. It's really fun and really epic. And once we have those awesome photo opportunities right in front of the mountain, it's time to make our way up to the mountain, and believe us, these buses can do just that. For the whole way, Phil has been sharing with us his huge wealth of knowledge, not only about the behind-the-scenes stories of Lord of the Rings, but also about New Zealand in general and the awesome area that we are in. We make this really epic river crossing right to the bottom of Mount Sunday, where those of us who are brave or stupid enough decide to climb up Mount Sunday in this blistering wind.
As we are climbing higher and higher, the wind is getting stronger and stronger and it's harder and harder to hear our guide, which is telling us a story about how the whole set was built here. It took them 9 months to build the whole thing, it took them only a few weeks to film in it, and then after they dismantled the whole thing to return this land to its natural pristine beauty.
Although we don't make it all the way to the summit of Mount Sunday because it is far too dangerous today, we are still having a lot of fun, partly because of the amazing landscape, but also because this wind is hilarious, and we're not the only ones that think that.
Alright, so let's go over where this location was featured in the Lord of the Rings. So not only this was the capital of Rohan, Edoras, it was also the backdrop for the Misty Mountains and Helm's Deep. In short, this was the place where all those epic shots were filmed. The biggest scenes were filmed right here, and it's really awesome. After taking the time to embrace the amazing views and being completely bashed by the winds, we are now making our way back towards Christchurch. This is going to be a really long journey across rivers and land. It feels like we are in a pilgrimage like the Hobbit were in the Lord of the Rings. Just to break up the journey, we are stopping at Montpot's Lodge to get lunch. We're having a gourmet fancy as sandwich, and because not everybody is hungry, I'm getting 2 of them, so I'm pretty sweet with that. And after a big meal, we are now making our way toward Christchurch. It's a very long journey, so we're just napping it out. Seriously, nothing to see here, we're just sleeping. How about that for an epic tour? Honestly, there is so much space and scale to this location. I just love the grandeur of the whole thing. I absolutely love that place. Alright, so let's go over some of the comments that you guys had the first time we published it. So the first comment that we had was from Nomade Brazuka that says, your videos are really great. I really hope you guys get more views and subscribers. We hope to, but you know, what can you do about it? Aside from like, you know, spending a lot of time and energy and money on marketing, which is really not what we'd like to do. We like to focus on doing good content for good people, and then hopefully enough people are going to share it and it's going to become popular. But I do appreciate the thought very much. And Jackie Laurie says that they did that tour too. They loved and they got up to the top and they built where they built the house, and the views were amazing, sweeping up the valley into the mountain. That wind looked awesome. They had a calm day and no winds, and they just loved watching the video and remembering it all, and they say thank you. So yeah, you are very welcome. So it is quite famous for its winds, and so therefore it's not all the time that you get a perfect day. And that's actually correlates with what ZG says. ZG says, if I traveled halfway around the world and couldn't go to the top of Edoras, I would be very upset. Well, this is why we do those videos, to try to set your expectations correctly. The weather is not always playing ball in New Zealand. I mean, have you seen our video in Milford Sound? So we want to make sure that you guys understand what you're going to be getting, and you get a good understanding of what you're spending money on and what could and could not happen. So I hope that this helps you make your decision and make sure that you get the most out of your trip to New Zealand, because all your expectations are set right. Another person that has a really cool comment is Coachell's Place. They say that this was their first trip, their first stop in New Zealand. We got off the plane in Christchurch, picked up our camper van and groceries, and headed straight to Montpot's Lodge. We did the Edoras climb that night. It was windy, but nothing like what you experienced. That is epic dedication, mate. Like actually doing that on your first day in New Zealand, like your first night. You land, you get your camper van, you go and you do that. That is really epic. But yeah, that wind was something else, I have to say. It's like somebody created a mega spell on us. Okay, so if you are currently planning a trip to New Zealand, you can hang out with us 1 hour every single week during the NZ Travel Show and ask us all your questions so we can help you make the most out of your time in New Zealand. It's happening at 8 a.m. New Zealand time every single Sunday. To get the notification, maybe you want to consider subscribing. We have thousands of videos to help you plan your trips, so maybe that's definitely worth your time. And you may also want to reward us for all our hard work by clicking the like button. If you have a bit of spare cash, you can even join us on Patreon and get even more live sessions, a secret Facebook group, and plenty of extra perks for the cost of a cup of coffee a month. Another great resource for you is nzpocketguide.com, New Zealand's largest travel guide, with thousands of tips for you to plan your trip to New Zealand. It's all 100% free. That's it for me today. I'll see you in the next video when it's going to be day 218. Damn, times fly. See you in the next one. Bye bye.